So we already discussed about SCD type 1 where we are overwriting the master data. When we are overwriting the master data in SCD type 1, for example, we have discussed about the previous things like customer ID we are having region. Okay. And so if you have to load this data, what we were doing, we were just simply, creating dimension IDs first. Then we are creating created date when this data is created, right? And then we have updated date. So these are the master data columns, metadata columns for SCD type 1. Then we have something known as customer ID and we have something known as region. Okay, so these are the two things. Customer ID is a unique key in this table. That's why when we are creating a dimension key, we are creating a dimension key on, based on the customer ID, correct? For example, if we have a table like this, okay, we have something known as one, okay, and we have something known as region. Okay, it should be C1. So region IN for India, correct? Let's say we have this data. Now for this data, we will create first of all the dimension IDs. Okay. We will create first of all the dimension ID based on this key. That's what we have done. And if you remember, we have done with the help of monotonically increasing ID. Okay. And we have other option also. We can use row number as well. So row number is a part of our window function, right? To create, you know, every unique number in series, okay, for this dimension, for this unique key, correct? And if we, let's suppose we have run this load, initial load on 1st of Jan, and this is the 1st of Jan or any date you can say, the 1st of Jan, this data is entered into the system and we are doing it. We are creating this master data. So what we will do, we will just, update the created date as 1st of Jan 20 to 25, you can say, right? And the same date we will copy to update date as well. Okay. This is what we have done so far. This kind of thing is SCD type 1. But imagine if we are loading every day no change has happened. So nothing will be updated. Everything is, this is the thing. Imagine on 2nd of February, imagine the change has happened. What change has happened? The C1 is turned into from US, from India to it, the data for region for customer C1 is changed to US, right? And that happened on 2nd of Jan. So what will happen? On 2nd of Jan, if we go with SCD type 1, okay, this will update this will not, create any new record, but it will overwrite my existing record. Which is the existing record? So this record is the existing record. Okay. So in place of India, it will change to US. Okay. And in place of update date, created date will remain same because the first time this data is created on 1st of Jan. Okay. Now this is getting updated on 2nd of Feb. So what will happen? Instead of this, it will just, it will become 2nd of Feb. Update date will remain changed, will be changed. Correct. So by this method, it is not preserving the history. It is not preserving the history. And we have already implemented within our case study for customer, right? Now we are into product, and for this product master data we will be using SCD type 2. Okay. So to, you know We will be using SCD type 2. In this one, we will preserve the history. Imagine if I have same scenario. Okay. Then what will happen in SCD type 2? Let's see. So initially we have this data. Okay. Uh, this was the data. Okay. So initially the same record was loaded. Same concept. 1st of Jan, it was loaded as a init load. Okay. Now on 2nd of Feb, what has happened? It got changed. The C1 customer got changed from India to US on 2nd of Feb. Now I need to load this data with the help of SCD types. So first of all, the structure will not remain same. The metadata will not remain same, right? So let me just tell you on 1st of Jan, if you are using SCD type 2, okay, this is a two columns we have. Let's suppose we have two columns. Okay. Now, just a second. Okay. Now both are on the same level. Fine. So a dimension ID will be created initially as usual based on my customer ID, right? This dimension ID has created. Okay. And we have, so in this SCD type 1, there was a column known as created date, create date and update date, right? Now we have actually three columns. We would be having three columns. What will be those columns? One will be your start date, another will be your end date, and third will be your current flag. Current flag, or you can say is current, currently if it is available, or validity, valid flag, you can say, right? So basically, what does it mean? So it has loaded on 1st of Jan, correct? So your start date will be 1st of Jan, right? For all the entries, start date will be 1st of Jan because this master data is entered. Validity of this master data, because we are preserving the history, will start from 1st of Jan. What will be the end date? It will remain lifelong. So it will be 31st December. Year is 9999. 4 times 9. This will become my end date. Okay. And current flag gives you if it is valid or not valid. Currently, if it is valid or not valid. So you can make it 1 or you can make it yes, whatever you want. I'm making it yes, it is valid. Okay, just for your understanding. Correct. So this is the thing. So this will become my initial load. So when we are doing initial load for SCD type 2, the metadata will be different. You will have to add start date, means effective date from date, and to date will be end date, and current flag will be there. And obviously dim ID will always be there for any master data load. Right. Now imagine if on 2nd of February, if the data got changed, right, then what will happen? And data got changed for customer C1 from India to US. This has changed on 2nd of February, right? Now what will happen? So first of all, it sees that only C1 got changed, right? So it will remove this end date from here. So end date will become first, because it is 2nd of February, it got changed. So end date will become 1 day minus to this current date. Okay, so today's date is 2nd February. So 1 day minus will become 1st February. So if this record will be valid till 1st February, right? This record will be valid till 1st February, but this record is no more existing. Currently, it is no more valid. So it will turn into no. Instead of yes, it will turn into no. Now we have to create another record for C1. the valid record for C1, right? I'm creating the another record for C1, and in this the region will become US. Okay, and start date, what will be the start date? Start date will be today's date, 2nd February, right? So start date will become 2nd February. Okay, and end date, what will be the end date? End date will be 31st December, year is 4 times 9. And this current flag will become yes. Okay. And dimension ID, what will be dimension ID? Will it be same? The answer is no. Because this is a new record. For every new record, dimension ID will be created one more time. But this time, it will check what is the maximum dimension ID currently existing in this table. So maximum dimension ID currently existing is 7, right? So it will be 7 plus 1 and it will become 8, right? So by this manner, you can see for C1, how many records we have? We have 2 records. And we are preserving history also. How we are preserving history? Because we are preserving history, for example, from date, start date and end date. Okay. So this is the concept of SCD type 2. Okay. Now, if we go and see more about, the same thing I have explained it here. Okay. So for example, if I go with SCD type 2 logic for initial load that I have explained here, what we will do? We will first insert all the columns. So whatever column we were having customer ID, we were having region, we have inserted customer ID and region. All the columns is inserted. Correct. And after that, what we did, we have, kept start date as ingestion date. Ingestion date is today's date. Today's date is 1st of Jan, right? So I'm just putting 1st Jan for all the things for created date. I will create a column known as created date, 1st of Jan, right? I will put update date as end date will be, instead of update date, it will become end date. Oh, sorry. I'm okay. End date will be 31st December, 4, 4 times 9, right? So this is what I have to do. Then I have to create the SID using row number. Okay. Then I am creating the SID. Simple, right? And I am putting current flag as yes. Okay. I think this is what I have not mentioned. So let me mention this current flag as yes for all. Okay. That all are valid. Now, in case of any change happen, first we will check if my current ID is existing or not. If current customer ID exists, right, in the chain and any tracked column change. So I will check for current ID. I will check all the columns. Okay. And let's see. C1 is existing. It will check all the columns of C1. It will check all the columns of C2, C3, so forth, so on. Correct. Now, on the basis of this, I got to know that C1 right now it's US, it's India. So this is the change. So what I will do, I will put current flag as no, N. I have kept current flag as N. This is the first thing I have done. Now I have kept end date as ingestion date -1. Okay. So what was the end date I will update? I will kept end date as ingestion date is today's 2nd February because we are loading in 2nd February. 2nd February -1, it will become 1st February. Right? Okay. That's it. Now what I will do, I will add a new record, insert a new record with updated value. Okay. I will insert a new record here. Okay. And the value, updated value will be this one. I have inserted a new record. I will kept this start date as ingestion date, end date as 31st December 999 and put Y, correct? And I will create dimension ID as a new ID, which will be maximum plus one, right? So this is what we need to, implement. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now, since we have understood the concept of SCD type 2, so we are going to implement this SCD type 2 using our exercise. Okay. So what we are going to do is this is the project. Let me quickly create a notebook. I'm going to create a notebook. Okay. And in this notebook, we can start building the notebook for our gold product, right? With the help of SCD type 2. So I'm going to just rename this gold underscore products underscore SCD type. You can say type h2, right? So input like this. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, the first thing is we can check the data from our silver layer. Okay. How to read the data? Uh, Let me give a data read as a heading 3. Okay. And how to read the data? Very simple. We can use this, spark.sql, right? And from where we are reading the data? We are reading this data from our silver layer because we have to create a product table in the gold layer, right? So in silver layer, we have something known as product underscore silver, which we have done in during our previous exercises. So what we will do, we will simply use spark.sql and we will use SQL programming to read this data because this is a delta table, right? So we will use spark.sql and we will simply write the SQL language and this will be select star from, okay? And we can use this ADB catalog. Inside that, we have silver. Okay, inside that we have product table, product underscore silver, right? We can simply execute this, but before executing, we need to connect to our server. Okay, you can simply execute it and see the results. So you would be able to read the data using simple SQL command with the help of spark.sql. Okay, this spark.sql will convert this statement into Python, right? So it will display the data. Okay. And basically, if we want to use this data in a data frame, how to display? We can assign this to a data frame. Okay. And we can simply use display. Then I can pass this data frame. Okay. There are many methods, but let's do this. You can write this in this manner also, df.display. Okay. And you can write this manner also, df.limit if you want to only see the first 10 records. Okay, so there are many methods. You can use any of them. Okay, anyways, I'm using this. Okay, and let me, see the count and display both the things. So in my master data, you can see in this data which is available in this table, this is a delta table basically. You can see it's showing you the first 10 records and it's showing you the total number of record is 500. Okay, and what are the columns we have? We have product ID, we have product name, we have category, brand, and price, right? So this is simple data read. Now, before going to implement this, what we need to do? We need to create some parameter that we have done in previous exercises and how to create the parameters. Okay, so we can create the parameters with the help of dbutils, dbutils.widgets. Okay, and you can just put like txt if you have to create the parameter and you can name the parameter as init load. Sometimes it is mandatory, sometimes it is not mandatory, but and what is the value of parameter you want? You want one for init load. Okay, or that's right. And one is an integer. So basically what you need to do, you need to assign this parameter to some variable. Okay, that will be your integer variable, int, and then you can put like dbutils got init load. Correct. So the moment you execute it, one box will appear here, and that will become parameter defined with init load, and the value of this parameter is 1. Now you are assigning this parameter to init load. Let's say if after assigning you want to see, okay, one bracket is missing over here. Now if you want to see, simply see the, you know, what is there in this one. Okay, dbutils dot widgets dot get. Okay, init underscore load. So this will only display. So let me first assign to the init underscore load. And if you want to see the value, it will give you 1. If you change this value to 0, let's say you can change anytime. This will give you 0. Correct? But we are running for 1. Okay, that's it. Anyway, now to do some of the operations, like we will do a number of things, we will use a number of functions during our notebook program. So what we will do, we will import the library from PySpark. So we will write from PySpark SQL functions import star. So we are importing all the functions, right? Then we will use to import the types, SQL types, it will be star. Okay, then we will be using from, okay, we will be using row number this time, right? So we will have to use import window function from SQL, right? So I will use import and then I will use window. Okay, window functions I am importing. I will also use some date time function. So I will be using, I will import date time. You can see this date time and import date time. Correct. So all these four things I will be using during my notebook. So I will have to import all these libraries. So I have imported that one. Okay, now since it is imported, the next thing what we are going to do is, because we have to load the ingestion date, today's date. Okay, so the first thing is, we have to create the metadata date, like start date, end date. End date is a fixed date, but ingestion date is today's date, right? So first I will have to create the ingestion date, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to adding ingestion date. Okay, and what I will do, I will use this df. If you want to see the data before doing this ingestion, you can do that, correct? You can see you have a data having 500 rows, right? Now in this data you have all the columns, but you don't have a column for ingestion dates. Let's create an ingestion date. How to create an ingestion date? Simply we will use with column statement in PySpark, and we will use current timestamp. So what is the current timestamp that will be ingested here? Okay, so very simple, df equals to df dot with column. Okay, and then I will be using ingestion date as a new date. Okay, then I will be using current timestamp, right? Current timestamp. Okay, and I want to see the data for first 10 records. If you want to see the data for 5 records, you can make like that, no problem, right? I would be able to, add a new column which is known as ingestion date, and I can see the data as well. You can see here. So you have product ID, every column are there. Addition to that, we have ingestion date, which is, adding the current timestamp as an ingestion date for me. Okay. So now what we have to do? we have to add other columns. What are the other columns we have? So if you see here, the other columns we have is start date, end date, current flag, and dimension ID, right? This ingestion date is added at the source level. This is your DF right now, whatever DF we are making, data frame, right? So in this DF, okay, we can add other dates as well. So adding other metadata columns, right? For SCD type 2, correct? It's Python. Why it is Python? It should be marked down, okay? And I can make it like, okay. Then what are the other columns we have? Let's add this with the help of same with column. The next first column is a start date, okay? And in this start date, what I want the start date should populate from the start date should be same as ingestion date, right? Start date should be your ingestion date. Okay. So I have already added ingestion date as a different column. Correct. So I should copy the column of this data into start date. So what I will do, I will use column function, column, because I am referring to column and I am referring to ingestion date. So data from this column will be copied as a start date. Okay. Then I need to add more columns. So I'm putting this, forward slash. Then I can put like, again, with column end date. And for end date, I want to add this. I want to fix this thing, right? So let me give you very simple things how to do this. So lit inside lit function, what you can do, you can add any constant. So my constant is YY year, then month would come 12, then 31st, right? So this is constant, but I want to make this in timestamp. So I will use cast function to, put this date in timestamp manner. So I have kept timestamp, okay, and that's it. I can add third column will be my current flag, okay, and in this current flag I can use lit the constant value y to be added, okay, and I can display the results. Fine. Let me see the data now. You can see. So for initial load, we have added ingestion date, start date, end date, and current flag. Correct. What else we need? We need this dimension ID now. Okay. So, but before having this dimension ID, what we should do? Let's make, let's implement this SCD type 2. Make this as a hiding second. Okay. And the first thing we will do, we will reorder this product ID, because sometime what will happen, in my cases, the product ID is already in sequence, is in ascending order, but it might be the thing that, some numbers are not in, one order. So make this as a ascending order. That is the best practice we should follow. So first thing is I can just make this as ordering the data in ascending manner with respect to product ID or any key column, right? With respect to product ID, I'm going to make the data arranged in ascending order. So Can make it plan, right? So what I can do, I can use this df equals to df dot. I can use order by or sort. Both are same. We have used order by. So this time I'm going to show you how to use order. So sorry, we have used sorting option before. So we are using order by with the help of product ID, correct? And that too, I want ascending, ASC. Okay, that's it. And I can see the data obviously, right? So after ordering, it will not show any difference right now because it's already, ordered. So the next thing what I can do is I can create the IDs, dim IDs, right? Once the ordering is done, how to create the dim IDs? Same thing with the help of with column statement, with column, and then we will use dim product key. Okay. And then we can use monotonically, we can use this also, but right now let's use this. So this will start the index from 0. So we want to be started from 1, right? So we can just add a constant every time, right? So this will start the things from 1. So we can display the results. Let's see what result is coming. So you can see the last column, a dimension key got added. Okay, starting from 1. If you will not put this lit 1, if you're not adding 1 as a constant every time, it will start with 0. But we don't want anything to be started with 0. Okay, that's the thing. Now the main program, now we will, so in previous cases, we have done in multiple, steps. We have created a df new, we have created a df old, right? So if you have understood all those steps, you would be able to, make this time an optimized code. When I'm saying optimized code, no need to create multiple tables, but we can make the things, everything written in a single, you know, cell only. Correct? So if you have understood the previous things, then it will be making more easy for you. So let's create the data formation part. How to introduce this concept, both the concept together. Okay, so for, if my init load equals to 1, right, what will happen? This will tend to initial load. So if my initial load is happening, we have any table existing right now? If you see the catalog inside the gold, we don't have a table known as dimension product, right? So during initial load, the table has to be created. This is the first thing we have to do, correct? So in that case, okay, we need to create the table. Okay, so now we can start building this. So the first thing is we need to initiate the things for initial load. So if my init load equals to 1, that means if I am doing the data load first time, what we will do? First thing that we will create the table. We will create the dim product. And how to create the dim product? We can create the dim product with the help of this data frame. Okay. I already have this data frame with me. Okay. Which is having my dimension IDs, which is having my current flag and everything, so on, correct? So I can do that. So let me create the table using this one. So if my init load flag is 1, that means my init load, what I will going to do, I am going to write this data frame df dot write. Okay, and I will write in a mode which is known as overwrite mode. Okay, and then what I will do, I will click, I will save this data obviously in a gold layer as product underscore gold or dim product, whatever it is, right? But before saving it, what I will do, I will write some partitioning. I will partition by start date. Okay, what is the benefit of partitioning? That we will see later, because we need to implement something, right? We will partition with the help of start date. For example, if something is partitioned with the start date, it will make my table more optimized, right? Otherwise, it's okay. And remember, this should be in the same length. Okay, just a second, just a second. Okay. Hmm. It should go with save as table, because we are saving this. So T should be capital. Okay. Where I want to save? I want to save this in my catalog ADB cat. I think this is the one. And in that one, I want to go with this. But not on silver layer. Not on silver layer. I need to do it in a gold layer. Okay. And the name of the table would be dim product. Just like we have a dim customer, it will be dim product table. Okay, so this is what I'm going to say. So for a first time, what it will do, it will create the data table. Okay, fine. Now that's okay. Or you want to print some message also, you can do that. Print. So if you want to print a message that okay, table is created, you can do that as well. Okay, you can just print a message that initial load is done. Initial load for dim product completed. Correct. I want to print this message. Okay. Now, if we don't if we have other value inside this parameter, so this will go in else mode. Okay, or you can put like elif mode. Elif is nothing but a short form of else if. So if my else if load equals to 0, 0, it means if it is subsequent load. Okay, what it will do, it will first check if my table is existing or not. So I will use if not spark.sql, sorry, spark.catalog. Okay. If not spark.catalog, then we have something known as table exist. If this table is existing or not. So if it is not existing, what will do? If it is not existing, what it will do? It should create the table, right? So it should raise the exception. So we have something known as raising an exception. Exception means it will raise a message flag. Okay, that goal table not found. I'm making the most optimal, way of doing the code as per the current scenario, real time scenario of the project. Okay, run init load first. Okay, with init underscore flag equals to 1. So by in any chance, if you commit mistake, it will raise an exception saying that, okay, load is not there. Okay. Then what we should do? So we will now break our code into multiple pieces. First point, what we will do? We will load existing gold data, existing data which is available in my gold For example, imagine if we are not doing init load, it means table is there, right? And if table is there, what we have to do? Let's suppose this table is there in my case. This is not, this is for subsequent load. If table is there, what first thing I will do? I will first find out what is the maximum SID which is available in this table, right? So I will try to find the maximum SID. Okay. So I can type that load existing data from gold. Okay. To get maximum surrogate key, right? So how to get this maximum surrogate key? So I can make this like df underscore gold. Okay. I'm making a data frame, new data frame, df underscore gold. And let's go with the suggestion. What I will do, I will use this option as select a star from. Okay. The table will be same like db catalog, and that will be gold, and that will be dim. So we don't have a table right now, correct? Dim product. Okay. So this time it might be showing an error because we don't have a table, but as soon as we execute this, this error will go because this will not enter into this block. This will enter into this block first and it will create the table. So don't worry about this error. Okay, right now. So if we select the data from this existing table, what I should do? I should use this command, select maximum of dim ID, something like that, right? So what should be my maximum? Uh, Maximum SID you can say, or maximum key. Okay, it will be df underscore gold. So whatever we have a data frame created in step first, we will just use this select max of dim product key. Okay, and then as we have done this before also, we will collect the data because there will be only one value coming in this data frame. So in this, the value of this data frame has to be captured under this variable. This can only be captured with the help of collect functionality. Okay, so we can make use of this collect, and we will go to zero indexing. Okay, fine. Now we will create another variable. Means what will be the next key? This is the maximum key. Maximum key is 7. What will be the next key? Next key will be maximum key plus 1. So let's make a next key also. Okay. So my next key will be maximum key plus 1. Simple. And in case of first load, if maximum key is not there, then the value of maximum key will become 0 and the final value will become 1. So we should write this. If maximum key is not none, none means is not available. If maximum key is 0, right, then this next key will become 1, right? So we have done this. Okay, got it. Now we can go to next step. What should be our next? So in this step, we have actually we have worked on finding out the maximum key. That's it. We have first created this into a different data frame, df underscore gold. We have created this df underscore gold, and in that df underscore gold, we have applied a logic to find out the maximum key, and we just store that maximum key in a variable known as max underscore key with the help of collect function on top of this df underscore gold. And we have created another variable which is known as next key, correct? And next keys will be nothing but max plus 1. And in case if max is 0, max key is 0, the next key will become 1. right? So all these logic you can see here. We have created df underscore gold. We have find out maximum key. We have defined next key equals to max key plus one. And if max key is not none, right, then it will give one value. Okay, simple. Now the second thing what we will do is we will create a row number, right? We will create a row number in such a way that it should be applicable. This programming should be applicable in both the ways. Like even if it is an init load, it should work. And even if it is a, subsequent load, it should work, right? So how to assign the new SID surrogate key. If any new value comes, right, how to assign this surrogate key. Okay, to new records. Okay, so let's not go with the suggestion that it is giving me. So what I will do, I will create a window first. Window means subset of a data. Okay, so I will be using a window dot order by. Okay, order by we have already used to make the things ascending or descending, right? So the same thing we will do. We will first create a subset of data by order by product ID. SC ascending. Okay, then I can create a staging table, a temporary table, a staging table. And in that staging table, I can create a new column, which is known as row number. Okay, so I have created a row number, and row number is basically a function which is already available in my window function. It is a part of window function. What it will do, it will generate the IDs. Okay, based on customer ID, it will generate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The same thing we have done for monotonically increasing ID, right? The same function, the row will work, but row will work within the window function, within the subset of data. So first we have created a subset with which we call this as a W, and we have just created the subset by putting all the product IDs in ascending order, right? That's it. And now we are trying to create another staging data frame, and now in this data frame we are just assigning a row number. Okay, and how we are assigning the row number, we will over W, over this subset of data, you will assign this number. Okay, so now the next thing is we need to, okay, we need to, okay, let me create. So we need to update the existing column. What is my existing column? Existing column is dim product key. Product key. Okay. And in this dim product key, what we will do? Whatever column we have, row number we have calculated before, we will update in this dim product key. Okay. Don't worry. Let me write this. Then I will explain you in proper way visually so that it will be understood what we are actually doing here. Okay. Then we will use this next key, what we have find out before, -1. Okay. The next is we will drop this column that we have created. This is a temporary column, row number. Okay, right. This is bit complex, but let me, just explain you. This is completed. So this part is already done, right? This part we have discussed. Now assigning the new surrogate key to the new record. Okay. So for example, um, earlier this record was not there, right? This one record was not there, right? So if we have to add this record, right? We have added this record finally, okay, but we have not added this dim ID. How to find out this dim ID? This is what we are doing in this piece of code. So first thing what we are doing, we are creating W window. We are just taking this data, okay, and uh, in W, and what we are doing, we are making sorting this data in ascending order. Okay, so this data is now sorted in ascending order and it is captured in W, correct? Right. So W is a subset of data. W is a window. W equals to window. So W is not a variable. It's not a parameter. Nothing. It's a subset of data. So if, for example, W will be as same as your data frame. Okay. Now what we are doing, we are creating a staging data frame. df underscore stg. So in this df underscore stg, what we are doing, correct? We are having this entire data frame. Whatever data we have, we are coming, right? So if you see df, what is your df? See, this is your df, right? This is the data which you are preparing. So in this data frame, we are copying a temporary page, you can say temporary data frame. We are making a temporary data frame on top of this data frame, right? And this temporary data frame, we are creating a temporary column. Let's suppose this is the data frame I'm having. This is df. Okay, let me copy here. So what I did, I created this. This is the df. This is having only 7 records, not the 8th record. Okay, this is the df. Now in this df, I created a row number, a new column which is known as row number. This is a temporary column. Okay, and in this row number, I generated a row. Okay, I generated a row starting from 1 2. Okay, just a second. Over W means over subset of data. Okay, now with column dim product key, I need to, this is dim product key. This dim product key is already there. Okay, now I need to copy the dim product key from this row number which I generated plus next key minus 1. Okay, and I need to drop this. Okay, so for all the data, let's suppose this is the new data I'm having. This is the new data which I need to insert. In this new data, a row number is there. Row number I created. The first value is 1. Okay, then I created another column which is known as dim ID. Here you can see a dim ID is created. With this line, a dim product key is created. It is created. Okay, and under this dim ID, it is copying the data from row number. It is copying the data from row number plus next key minus 1. Plus next key means next. What is your next key? If you remember, we have next key is our 8, right? So if you see the above logic of next key, next is maximum key is 7 plus 1, that is 8, right? So for new record, the dimension ID will come as 8. What will be the dimension ID? It will come as 8. Okay. And let's say if we don't have any data, then what is our next key? Next key is 1 in that case. And 1 minus 1, 0. So entire dimension key will be captured with row number starting from 1 to 10, 1 to 8. Correct? And finally, my row number work is done. So I will drop this row number. Okay. So this will satisfy not only the initial record, but it will also satisfy the subsequent load. Okay. This is a bit complex, but if you just have a watch, get this thing implemented by yourself, you would be able to visualize. Okay. Now the third step is we will create a source temporary view. We're creating a source temporary view. How to create? With the help of this staging. We have already created this staging, right? Now we have to create a temporary view with the help of this create or replace temp view. Okay. And you can call this with anything like stage product. Let's call this as stage underscore product. Okay. Let's remove this df. It will become too lengthy. So what I'm doing now, this data I'm having, right, in both the cases. What is this? This is temporary storage, df underscore stage. In case of initial load, this will be the data set. Okay. And in place of subsequent load, only one record will be the data set under df underscore staging. Correct? Now what I will do, I will create a temp view on top of this, either this or this. For init load equals to 1, this will be there. For init load equals to 0, this will be there, right? Okay. Now what I will do, the fourth thing is I will run the merge command the way we have triggered in previous cases. Run merge command. So with the help of this run merge command, I would be able to, you know, either update the existing, but in previous cases of SCD type 1, we have overwritten the data, right? We have overwritten the data to US in this SCD type 1. But here we don't have to overwrite the data. What we have to do, we have to create a new, if it is matching, I have to create a new record. Okay. And I have to update some columns in the existing record. I don't have to touch any column. What I have to touch? I have to touch end date. I have to touch current flag. That's it. Right. So this is very, very different than SCD type 1. Okay. So what we will do? We will run merge command, and don't worry, this is a traditional way of implementing SCD type 1, SCD type 2, or SCD type 1. So Databricks give you something known as DLT pipelines. Okay. And in this DLT pipeline, you have already inbuilt functionality of SCD type 1 and 2. You just have to use that. It's a kind of API. So no need to write this logic at all in DLT pipeline. But it's always good to have your understanding with learning this concept. Okay. So anyway, quickly. So we can write our merge command with surrogate key logic. Okay. So df underscore stg. Okay. I am trying to, sorry, this is already done. df underscore st is done. So how we can merge this thing? We can use a merger underscore SQL frame, okay, equals to, okay, f, I'm just making this as a function 3 times this one, okay, and I will use this as merge into what? This is my target table, right? Inside my goal, the target table df, okay, I can refresh this. Okay, I have not run this command as of now. So table is not created. Okay. But imagine if table has created DM product. So I'm making this DM product as TGT, right? So this is your table actually. If I go to left, this is your TGT. This is your DM product. Okay. So I'm calling this as a TGT target table. Okay. And what will be my source? This data frame which I created is STG will become my source, right? And this STG contain either this load or this load. This is the source. I need to update this data here with this logic. Okay. If it is a subsequent load, I will just update C1 here as a new record and 8 also. Okay. But if there is a no change happen, right? If it is a simple insert, I will insert this record. Now let's see how to merge this. So I have kept the target table as TGT and stage product. What is stage product? Stage product is nothing but df underscore stage. This is my source. Okay. Now what I should do? I should write a condition. On what basis we are comparing the data from source to target? On the only one column is there, right? And that column is two columns actually. Customer ID and current flag. We have to consider both. Okay. So what I should do? I can just write the logic. Okay, so I will use on. You can see product ID, but right now it is only seeing the product ID, but I will use and. And means both should be correct. And it will be TGT dot current flag. Okay, and current flag should be true. If current flag should be true, then there are two things will happen: when not matched and when matched. Okay, let me write this, then I will again explain you. Okay, so when not matched, what is the meaning of not matched? Sorry, the first thing is we should talk about when matched. Okay, so what we are trying to do here, let's see. For C1, initially the data was yes. Okay, and this was India only, correct? And this was this in the target, correct? This was no more existing. Fine. Let's imagine this was no more existing. This is the table. Okay. Now using this command, first it will check the product ID between source and target. Product ID is C1, right? This is the thing. Product ID is C1 here. C1 it is there, correct? And then current flag is yes. Okay. Here the current flag is yes, right? It is matching. The both is true, then it will go inside this thing. If it is true, if both the condition is true, it is why it is C1, right? This is why. Then it will go inside this block. And in this block, what it will do? It will match everything. So what I will do, I will write a logic. Don't know why I went inside this. Okay. So what I should write? TGT dot product name. So it will check everything. So in this we have everything. Okay. So the meaning of this symbol is not equals to. It will check whether it is not equals to, it is not equals to. So both are equal. Okay. So this block got skipped in that case. If all are equal, then it got skipped. If it is not equal, right? If anything is not equal, so right now you can see this is not equal. Region is not equal, right? Here it is in India, here it is US. So your region, okay, I'm dealing with customer here. I'm explaining with customer and here it is product. So let's say if anything like brand is not equal, right? Then this code will, what it will do? It will then, it will go to then. If it is not equal, then it, what it will do? It will update. What it will update? First of all, it will update your end date. This is what we are seeing, right? If it is not equal, that means it's a change record. Then it will update your end date as ingestion date -1, right? So what it will do, it will update your end date equals to source ingestion date, or you can say start date, both is same, right? Let's make this as a start date -1, isn't it? Right? This is what we are trying to do. Okay. And the next thing what it should do, it should update the current flag as n. This is what we discussed, right? So this will be updated as 1st of Feb 25 and the current flag will be n. Correct? As per this logic. So then tgt dot current flag, what should it should be? It should be n. Correct? Okay. And when this condition does not match, so this is done. Now the next item, what it will do, it will insert this data here when not matched. Then it, what it will do, it will insert the data. Second, I don't know what happened. It's hanged or what. Okay. Just a second. Okay. When not matched, then what it should do? It should insert. It should insert everything. Like it should insert dim product key, right? It should insert dim product key, and it should insert the other thing like product ID. You can just have this product name, category, brand, price, right? And start date, end date, and current flag also, right? That's it. So these things it should insert, and it should insert, this is the target column. So what values it should insert? Okay. So from where it will insert? It will insert from source as it is, right? Correct. Okay. That's it. So bracket is closed. Then we will put this semicolon. And because we started, this is a function starting with triple quotes. So it should end this function with the help of triple quotes. Right. So you can see this function is having triple quotes, then what we will do, we will execute this. This is a SQL function we have written. So we will have to write this spark.sql, and we have to call this function merger underscore SQL, something like that. Okay. And we can print whatever we want. What we want, we can print that incremental load is completed. So we can do something like that. Incremental load for, yeah, this is completed. Correct. Okay. This is done. Now we are into else block. Elif block, actually, if you see, this all are coming under elif block. If block, elif block. If else if is there, then we can put else also. If it is not, then we can raise an exception once again, saying that init flag, init load must be 0 or 1. Okay. And we can make that is win 1 for first time load or init load, initial load. Yeah, it's giving me the options, and we can see the data as well after that. Okay, fine. So this is done. Now, if we execute this, it might come into, some of the block might come into error, but this time because it's init load 1, this block will only done, right? Let's trigger this. So all the logic is now captured here, which will preserve the history, and you can implement this. You can see this history has done. If you want to drop this ingest date column, you can drop this, because anyway you have this start date, but it's always good to have this ingested date also, that you can see the dimension IDs you are having. Correct. You can check to load more products or make any change of data in this product, and this logic will work. Okay. And now you can see the message also, right? For example, you can see init load for dim product completed, because we have written this message, right? Where we have written this message, we have written this message here. Okay. Now let's suppose if I run this entire logic for 0, what will happen? I will hit on run all, right? And first, before running, you can see the table as well in the gold layer. You can refresh this. It's refreshing, and it will show you the table of dim product once the refresh is getting completed. Okay, just hold on for the moment. It's still running. Okay, anyway, this table is already completed. That's the reason you are able to see the data, because you have triggered this gold underscore dim product and you have used dot display, right? So that's why it has given you the data. Anyway, now what we should do, we should run all with the help of 0. Okay, so let me run all, and this will prove. Okay, so it's running for, okay, it shows some error. It is showing error over here. Let me see. Hmm. Merger underscore SQL. Okay, somewhere the error is coming here. Let me fix this. All the logic is fine, but somehow it's not calling the function that we have done. It's running the merge. Hmm. Okay. Okay, maybe, okay, I got you. So this problem is because this is not properly aligned. Okay. So let me do one thing. Let me copy this code here. So parenthesis does not have parenthesis around the condition. Okay. So I am just making a copy of this code. Okay. So even if you miss something because of typo mistake, you would be able to just find this out. Okay. Let me have this code pasted here. Okay. Yeah. And let me run this code separately. It's again turned into error. Last execution failed. This time. Okay. Okay. Date subtract. Yeah. We cannot simply subtract the date like this. Okay. Now this is running fine. You can just, okay. This is displaying the data. Perfect. Okay. Let me delete this piece of code. The both logics are same. There are some small alignment means this I kept, backspace and it turned here, right? Because of that reason it got disturbed. Otherwise this has implemented the slow changing dimensions. Okay. Now this slow changing dimension and slow changing dimension 1, type 1 and 2 is basically gives lot of logic we need to implement. Now Databricks has given, instead of writing so many code, right? You can use this DLT pipelines, okay? And you just have to specify and everything will be taken care by Databricks itself. So if you see here, you can create DLT pipelines and in that you just have to specify here SCD type 1 or 2. The moment you are doing it 1 or 2, everything will be taken care by Databricks internally, right? So this is the concept. So you don't have to, uh, go with such kind of rigorous programming, but it's always good to understand. But you can have this DLT pipelines created. Okay. So we have something known as DLT pipeline, which take cares of these things inbuilt. Okay. So this has completed our gold product. If you can see this gold product is there and it is having the data, right? In the next we can create a gold layer for uh, final orders table, right? Okay, thank you.